Hello everybody, my name is Tiffany, I'm the Tipsy Artist, and today we are painting this really cute fall gnome in the back of a vintage pickup truck. So we'll have this color representation for us the entire time as our guide and our model. So I created this on my computer, and then we're going to paint it today for one of my classes. And then we also do these in larger sizes too for our live studio classes. So here it is. So it's super cute. Again, it has this little cute fall gnome here, little cute pumpkins, lots of fun patterns that we get to explore and do the fun techniques like a fun cheetah print. We'll have a fun dot technique. We'll have some leaves, this nice abstract background here. And it's really fun. And you can actually customize. We'll have the word fall here, but if you want to put like a family name or something like that, that's also a really good idea. And we do have paint kits that come with this. So mine's way over there. I perched it way too far away. Gosh, I don't know if I can grab that or not. You know what? We're not going to do that today. I'll put it below in like a picture or something. But it's on our website, tipsyartist.com. Okay, now let me, that looks good. Okay, so this is our traceable. This is the line art that I also create to go with the design. Let me go the right direction. Okay, so here it is. Here's the line art. So let's talk about this part of the process. So this is made for beginners. So what I do is I've got your canvas underneath, and I worked ahead a little bit so you can see the work that I've done. But we've got your canvas underneath. I include transfer paper in your kit here. I only tape up at the top. So again, very secure here. And then you want to keep it loose on the side so that as you trace, you can constantly check your work, make sure you get all those details in place. And then I've got your line work here on top. I have it centered. There is a little bit of overlap. You can see not that much, about that much overlap up here at the top. That way we get both of the tires in the design. And then again, horizontally, it's just kind of placed right there in the center of the canvas. Let's take another look at that. And then other really important tip here. With your transfer paper, you want to make sure that the dull gray side faces up and that the shiny black side faces the canvas. That will make sure that all of that hard work that y'all do, it will actually transfer it to the canvas. There's nothing quite as defeating as working really hard and realizing you had it the wrong way up, and then all that work is for nothing. So you'll only do that once, I can assure you of that. So that's how we have it set up. I have worked ahead, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And, oh, you know what? Actually, let me talk to you about how to do the transfer. So, I know I mentioned all this setup, but then you're going to take your pencil, because some of y'all have never done this before. So then you're going to take your pencil, and every single place that there is a line, you're just going to basically trace right over the top. And so every place there's a line, trace, that's just firm pressure. It could be with a pen, pencil. Of course, a pencil comes with your kit, so that makes it really easy. But it could be with a pen or a pencil, either one. Anything that's just it could be a stylus even. So that could make that impression. And then again, every place you press down, let's show that one more time, it will leave that entire drawing there on your canvas. Okay? So it's all ready to go. So it's a great cheat. We love it. Helps beginners out a lot. Gives you a really good amount of confidence to proceed before you actually start to paint. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and rip this off the canvas here. We are going to switch camera views so that you can have a better view of what I'm doing down here. All right, so where am I? Camera? Let's go USB. Okay, we'll make some adjustments. Scoot everything. That way too. All right. This is going to be lovely. Sorry, I'm cleaning off my glasses here. My peepers. So I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to move this arrow out of the way. All right. Okay, so we've got our model, our guide here. our line work done. And this gives you an idea of the supplies that are included in your kit here. We even have a little party blowout for you so you can, actually let me, there we go. Wasn't that fun? I mean, don't you just totally feel like you want to party now? That just made all the difference in the world right there. Okay, we've got our little paint plates nearby. I do have some titanium white and Mars black already loaded up on my plate. Your kit will come with a full set of all of these. I want to make sure that I have a bucket of water, and then this is your Sharpie. You can do some outline work. We are going to address some of that on this one. It does make it a lot easier. Your napkins, your brush set here. Let's introduce them to y'all. This is Mama. She is a 1/4 inch flat tack-on brush, and then we have Little Buddy, little tack-on brush there, and then this is little liner brush for those fine details. All right, okay, so let's go ahead and grab our Sharpie, or actually it's just a permanent marker, actually made by Keever. All right, so here we go. I am going to go ahead and do a little bit of this outlining. This is another really helpful step that you can do as a beginner to help keep your line work very visible. It will actually bleed through the paint. So that can be very helpful as we start to do our background here too. So I'm going to go ahead and definitely do the outer edges of the design here. Basically what that allows me to do is helps me be a little bit more loose and sloppy fun, if you will, at the very beginning, so that I don't have to worry too much about doing the cut-in work, because all of these lines will bleed through that paint. So that's really going to help me out. So I don't have to worry about doing the entire design, but definitely everything that comes near the edges of all this background, because I want to be able to have the freedom to just be very loose with that brushwork. The other thing that I will do is anything that's already kind of a hard black to begin with, like these eyes have a hard black finish to them, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Cute little nose and smile. Like the tires. I'll do those. Lettering is another good thing to do in the beginning. It'll bleed through. So we'll just color those in. This is the top of the window. This is the top of the truck. These are the little fall leaves that are coming through. Little stem right there. Really helps you see a lot of it really well. I think I'll just continue on and do it all so that you have a really good visual reference of everything. Alright, the only thing I'm going to leave undone will be the light cheetah print pattern, because I actually think it's better just to paint over all that. It's there for a reference, but I'm going to teach you a painted technique that will do all of that design work much more easily. It's actually better to not feel so bound by the line art at that point, and just feel the freedom of just painting it on over the surface. Alright, so we're going to place this down. Alright, we're going to get started with the background first. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my Mama brush. And we are going to be starting with titanium white. So we'll do a nice healthy dollop of that, about a quarter size amount. I've got some already on my plate nearby here. And then we'll also get started with some Mars black. So you just need a smaller portion of that, just about a pea size amount of that. And then, you know what, let's also get some primary cyan blue. We'll do another little pea size amount. And you know what, maybe a little cadmium yellow here and there. A little pea size amount there. And when you have your brand new paint kit, of course yours will be very full. There will also be some silver lining up here at the top that you'll have to make sure and take off so that paint can freely flow through the opening. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab some water here. I'm going to move my water over to the side so that it doesn't drop on my surface area. Go ahead and tap down on the plate here to release the excess water. I'm going to go ahead and come into a little bit of that white and then a little touch of the black. I'm going to make some light gray to play with. We're also going to have nice chunks of just pure white to play with. Let's do a little touch of that primary cyan blue to make some slate. So we're going to be playing with all of these here. Okay, that's good. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a crisscross back and forth here on the canvas. And I'll start off with that gray with a little touch of the primary cyan blue. And it kind of makes you feel like you're doing little tiny X's over and over again. Let's do a little touch of the white. Get some variety of color in there. Maybe let's just touch into a little bit of that cadmium yellow. Get a little touch of that. A little bit of warmth happening in the background, just a smidge. Now as we get near that edge, we can go ahead and just hold the brush more like a pencil to do our cut in, and then kind of pull out. But you can see here how that is bleeding through, which is very helpful. So I can be a little bit loose with it. If you just did a penciling in the beginning, you want to be a little bit more careful because the pencil will probably be covered up by the paint. You'll lose your trace work. But because we did all of this with our permanent marker, it is bleeding through, so we can be a little bit more loose and carefree. Just kind of crisscross that on, back and forth. And every time I paint this, it will be a little bit different. But again, it's that little mix of the pure white, light gray, that primary cyan blue mixed with the gray, which makes a little bit of a slate color. And then every now and again, a little tiny touch of that cadmium yellow, adding a little bit of warmth here and there. And just kind of crisscross it back and forth. And pure white coming in every now and again is very powerful and beautiful. So it really creates that nice little touch of white. Just that pure white is so nice in the mix. It's one of my favorites. See it just like that, so pretty. And then just kind of softly feather it back and forth. I turn the brush more over to the side, parallel to the canvas. Really pretty look there. Let's go in with more of that light gray. Pure white. So just see, that was just that primary cyan blue. Just did a pure little touch of it in there. See, that's really lovely when you do that. You got to do it while the paint's still kind of wet. And then you just kind of gradually go back over it, feather out those brush strokes. Again, lots of repetition and that feeling like you are making little tiny cross strokes back and forth, or again, what looks like the letter X. All right, so that is beautiful. We're gonna let that set up and dry. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse off here now. Do a little bit of rearranging here. Give myself some more room. You can see. Okay. All right, so next step. We definitely want to let our background set up and dry, and as it does, you're going to see more of that line work that we did. It will bleed through, but I also don't want to interrupt any of that. We've got the red truck that comes in, so if that blends with all those outside colors, they do not play well together, and it makes more of a mauve color, and I definitely don't want that to happen. So we're going to go ahead and start to work on some of the interior space next. So I'm going to go ahead and start to work on some of these beautiful little pumpkins here. Turn our canvas, or our paint plate rather, this direction. Let's go ahead and grab some lovely cadmium orange. Do a nice little nickel size, dime size to nickel size dollop of that. Okay, let's go ahead and rinse out our mama brush. Spin it round and round and round, firm pressure, that helps release the paint. And it'll dry off here on our napkins. All right, we're going to get the base now of our pumpkins in here. So I'm going to go ahead and take your little buddy brush here, and you can add a little bit of that cadmium yellow. We have that out anyway. I'm going to add that to the cadmium orange and warm it up a little bit. So we'll place this little pumpkin shape here. This top one is more of just a bright orange color. Make sure you get the little peekaboo parts here. And to help feather out the brush strokes a little bit more, you can turn that handle more over to the side again where the flat side of the brush is facing parallel to the canvas. That'll give you better coverage too, more of an opaque finish over the top. And then same thing here with this little pumpkin. It's got those beautiful warm colors. We're going to go ahead and place this over the top here. Feather those out. And more the flat side of the brush facing the canvas is what gives you a lighter hand and a nice feathering of the brush strokes out. So that's a nice look there. Okay, and then we've got more of a really light creamy color, so we're going to have to mix this up a bit. We're going to rinse out. So a cream base, let's go ahead and go with our Cadmium Yellow. And then we'll also be using some Titanium White, a little touch of black. That's going to make gray. We're going to mix that in with that Cadmium Yellow. So we want more of this gold look here. Let's lighten that up quite a bit with a lot more white. Okay, really light taupe colors what we're wanting there, and so we're going to go ahead and work that into this pumpkin here. Getting that nice foundation down, and let's rinse out. And then we have some very different colors that we're working in here, so we're going to go ahead and do more of like a hot pink pumpkin. So I'm going to be using my primary magenta, a tiny little pea size amount of that. Let's go ahead and use our little bit brush. We're going to add a little tiny touch of white to our primary magenta here, make more of like a hot pink. And that's going to be this cute little pumpkin right back here. So again, just doing the flat work in the back, just nice foundation. All right, next up we have a beautiful turquoise color. So I'll be using our Viridian. Little pea size amount is all that we need. Take a little bit again, we'll add a little touch of the primary cyan blue, and a little touch of white. Work that in. This cute little pumpkin right here. And we'll get that line work here in a little bit. Right now we're just trying to get the main sections of color. Alright, quite lovely. Oh, you know what, before I forget, I'll just put water all over my face. Hold take a little piece of my napkin and just lightly blot right there. Pick that up. Alright, I also need to make sure I forgot this little bit of background work in here. So that's just going to be that light gray. That'll work perfectly in there. So I'm going to take a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and do this. This is that peekaboo that comes through the window. So it really just needs to be that light gray. And that's all we need. Ready to go. Rinse out, dry off. Okay, let's go ahead and get some of this nice color happening here in the hat. So this will be a really beautiful violet color. Little pea size amount there. And then we'll get a touch of white to really bring out the beauty of that color. It's very dark in the beginning, almost looks black. So a little bit of white is needed to make it a bit more vibrant. And let's go ahead and place this into the top band section of the hat. Really pretty. And then also this little ball here. Just hold it more like a pencil, kind of spin it round and round and round. And then work our way into the center. Really pretty. Okay, now we can go ahead and start to work in some of these beautiful fall leaves too. Let me look around and make sure. Let's do a little bit of some pure orange in the lights. So a little bit. And pure orange that will go right into here. And turn the brush more over to the side to help feather out those brush strokes. Another little round circle and fill those in. Alright, and now we're going to work on some of our fall leaves. So I'm going to grab some of this cadmium yellow over here with our orange. And I'll start to work that into this leaf shape here. And I want a little bit of some brown nearby to play with too as an accent. So let me grab some more. We're going to mix up some brown. So cadmium orange. Little pea size amount there, and we have some Mars black nearby. Take my little buddy brush, do a touch of black with our cadmium orange, and that makes brown. Alright, so that's a light brown. I didn't add that much. It's a little bit of black. Go ahead and let our brushes rest in the water if you don't have a chance to get to them quickly. Let them rest in the water. Acrylic paint will set up and dry very quickly on the brush. You don't want to ever just leave them out here sitting with paint on them. Alright, so I'm going to pick up a little touch of the brown. We're going to work that around the edge. And so we can play a little bit between the brown and the orange and the cadmium yellow. So the fun shapes with the leaves have a feeling that is very much like making, for most of these anyway, it's like making a parenthesis and then another parenthesis. And then you just kind of fill those in. And then I work back in some of those lighter little highlights into the middle. The wonderful Cadmium Yellow adds a really nice little highlight over the top. So we're working in a little bit more of that light brown and then picking up a little bit of the Cadmium Yellow right over the top and kind of sweeping that in. Nice highlight. You can see here that our permanent marker really did its job. So it's bleeding through beautifully. And we're just working our way back into that shape. Adding a little bit more of that black to that orange to mix up more brown as we go. And to get your brush back to a nice fine point, you can do a little twirl in the brush. And this is our Cadmium Yellow, Cadmium Orange and black that makes that beautiful brown. And then I can come back in for a little bit more of a highlight. Let's grab some more because I'm running a little low. So I'm going to grab a little bit more of that Cadmium Yellow and then push that in a little bit right over the top. Adds a nice, and then I'll just use a very light, gentle hand. So I'll be holding that brush a little bit more over to the side. So lovely. I love it. I love it. So this little shape here is going to be actually the rear view, that little rear view side mirror. So we won't paint that in. We'll leave that alone. It can be a little bit confusing. That is not actually a leaf, but I just want to make sure that I get all my little leaves in here. I think this is another little leaf here. So that looks really pretty, and we've got one more here. So I usually take a look at my monitor to help me see better. In a weird way, it helps to almost get a different perspective. What I tell my students to do is actually step away from the painting, stand back and take a look at it from a distance. And that'll help you see more of the work that you have to do. Because sometimes we get so close to something, we just lose can't see the forest for the trees, as they say. So it does help to have a little distance sometimes. There's a few little peeking out down here too. also have some beautiful little stems, and there's more leaves here. And then I'm going to lighten up a little bit for this. Some white. Like our stems, pumpkin stems, quite a bit lighter, so add more white to this. Very nice. Let's check everything. See if I can get a darker brown here for this little stem. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and rinse out. I'm going to go back in with some orange here. Light pink orange though. A little bit of white. It's like a light peachy color. A little bit of water to make it a little bit more translucent. And I'm sure you'll see I'm covering up some of our work that we've done, but I will be able to come back in and either do a repaint, or you can let it, as long as it's completely dry, you can also rework it with your permanent marker too. Let's go ahead and just paint over a smooth look. We'll finish that up here in a little bit. And then I want this to be a bit more vibrant orange on this side, a bit more vibrant orange on this side. We'll leave that center a little bit lighter. Alright, let's rinse out. So we're going to go ahead and grab some bright yellow green. We have a little hint of that here in the center. Using Little Bit brush, I did rinse out so we can have a fresh burst of color here. I'm going to start with the top of this leaf and just kind of pull down short little strokes here. And then we're going to work in the next section. I'm going to go ahead and rinse out a little bit. And then we're going to work in some cadmium yellow. Just slight overlap over the top of that green, and then just continue to pull down into that shape for our next section. Changing of the colors into gold. So there's a soft fade into the cadmium yellow, and then it's going to become a bit more vibrant with cadmium red. So a little pea size amount of that. And a slight overlap right over the top of our cadmium yellow. And a little bit of water too, to help make it a bit more fluid. Now I'm going to take a little bit more of that orange, place that right over the top of that cadmium red, light wash of that. into more of the Cadmium Yellow here. Set that on over the center. And pull down. Softly kind of blend that out. That's my little cut bag. Inside it. Dry off. A little bit more of that cadmium yellow. We're going to go right over the top of the green, and then I'm going to rework the green again. I want to get a nice soft blend through the leaf here. And then rinse dry, and then I'm going to do one more touch of that green again right up at the top. Light touch. Real light hand right over the top here. Come back in with one more. This is our Cadmium Yellow right over the top again. Has a little bit of a different feel with the acrylic paint. This is a watercolor painting that I did, so there's definitely some difference in that. But I'm going to come back in and do a little bit more detail. Let this set up and dry, and then we'll bring in some more of the brown that will come in over the top. Okay, let's see here. I forgot a little purple mitten. Just now noticed that. We have a little purple mitten right there. And I'm still using a little bit. I'm going to come back in with some bright orange, and we're going to do these little circles. And they can be, you can feel how rough they are. I'm not that concerned because I'm going to have to tighten up with all the black that'll come in around that. Alright. While I've got this orange and I've got that pink, I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of that flesh tone happening here again. So a big dollop of white. Or a really light pink. We're going to make that little nose. And I don't necessarily make it a true flesh tone. I try to make it a little bit more of a pink color so that it's just a little bit more decorative. And again, a little white highlight here on this side. It's quite lovely. Alright, let's go ahead and work in our little mirrors here. So we've got some gray, so a little bit of black and white. This will be our little mirrors here off to the side. Okay. Really nice. And now we can start to work in our truck color too, which is going to be awesome. And then after we get that base color in, then we can start to work on a lot more of our details too. Alright, so let's go ahead and keep with our little bit brush. We've got our, well, let's do some more mixing because we need, let's get another little pea-sized amount of cadmium red. We're going to need a little bit more brown to mix in with this too, so I'm going to do another big healthy dollop of the cadmium orange. And then let's grab a little bit of black to mix in with that. That'll be our outline. That brown, and then we'll come back in with the cadmium red into the middle. This is the outline of the truck. Again, it's a lot more black on this round with the orange. And then let's go ahead and push into some of that cadmium red. And start to work that into the center of the truck. So it's a little bit of an overpaint over that outline. Cyan is texting. Hold on, let me text him back and tell him what I'm doing. I feel like he's sort of giving me some emergency. It's like, call me, but I need to tell him I'm right in the middle of the class. Okay, hold on. Let's get in the. Finish up a painting class online. Here are your minutes. Love you so much. He's got some good news to share with me. So. And send. Okay. All right. Alright, so we're going to continue back in with the red. So it's mixing with that brown. It's kind of almost making like a burnt red color. Again, this is our cadmium red, and we outline the truck in like a deep dark brown, and then we're working in that cadmium red into the body of the truck. Teeny amount of little truck peeking through here, and there. Here. Let's go a darker brown to outline. And then just kind of scrape off that excess, going for more of the lighter, pure cadmium red, and work that into the body of the truck now. more of that cadmium red right through here. Other camera's still going. Doing a time lapse of this whole process too for TikTok. I'm on TikTok, Tipsy Artist. Find me. Please follow me. I'm a baby on TikTok. It means I'm in my infancy stages. They're very young and it's kind of sad. I don't have hardly any followers right now. About 120,000 followers on Facebook, and then I have about 500 followers on TikTok. Oh, I'm learning, trying to get with the program. I should have paid more attention to Gary Vee and really stuck with it in the very beginning and been more consistent with it in the beginning. Got a little bit more peekaboo of red track coming through here. And here. Wow, it's looking so good. I love it. Okay. So let's rinse out. And then we need this, we're going to start doing some grays in the beard and in the bumper. So grab some white and some black. And we'll do that beard here. And some water to help make it a bit more fluid. So it's going to be a bit more of a dark gray around the edges. And then we will work in a lighter, like bright whites. And we start to work in most of the beard. Okay, roll down those darker tones. Alright, let's rinse out completely and grab some pure white and work that in. Got a little bit of excess water over here I need to pick up. It's got some red tones in it. Not friendly with the beard. Smoothing in a lot more of these bright whites over that darker gray here. Alright, And now that I've got that in, I'm going to go ahead and rinse out. I'm going to come back in with just a few more dark tones of the gray, just a teeny bit. So twist out the top of the brush into that with a nice thin point. And then I'm going to work back in. Little nose. And you almost want to just sort of act like you're just kind of combing through that beard. Just kind of doing that same motion. Alright, so soft little strokes through there. That looks lovely. Now I'm going to do a little bit of this darker gray around the outer edge of the bumper here. White and black. Just grab a little bit of water, makes it a little bit more fluid. Black and white. And then we'll work in with some more pure white. Let's grab a little bit of a bigger brush, a little buddy in here, and pure white. Softly go into that edge. And let's go back to a little bit. And that pure white right over the top, and work this in. A little bit of an overpaint to get a soft fade in between that dark gray outline. We don't want our bumper to be perfectly white. We want to have little hints of gray. Okay, that's really nice. All right, now we need to start working on some details. Alright, so little bit brush, let's get some black. We're going to work on that little hat here. And this is when we'll kind of tighten up those little circles there. A lot of it comes together. Again, this is just pure Mars black. So we'll reinforce that outline again because we probably had a little bit of overpaint with the leaves. So we'll tighten that up. Make that a nice, neat and tidy outline. Yay, so cute. Alright, so let's see here. More details. We've got some details here on this little pumpkin. And again, as long as it's perfectly dry, this is also something that you could do with your permanent marker instead of paint. But if you want to paint it in, again, little tricks are, as you go into your black, actually let's turn this, it's a little easier reach. Do a little twirl with your paintbrush into the paint to get that back out to a nice fine point. Those cute little eyes again. Okay, and then you can make the little nose by using the end of the brush. Just barely touch into the black and just barely push down for a little tiny dot. That's a nice, easy way to make a dot without having, if you try to do it with the brush head, it can be at your own risk. Those dots can get kind of crazy. They can have a lot more personality real quick. So you're welcome to have a nose with personality though. Sometimes that can work out to be really fun. There's your little smiley face. All right, now we want to do just hints of little bits of shadow in here too. So I'm going to grab a little bit of water and work into the brown that we have mixed up over here. So that's our orange and a little bit of black. I'm going to twirl the head of the brush there. And I'm going to do a little outline around this little pumpkin and the stem. Again, this is our dark brown. And we're going to make that little curve in the pumpkin. You know, those pumpkins, they have those little creases. So I'm starting to make those little shadows come in. And then we have more of that work to do on our other little pumpkins here too. So thankfully we can still see a lot of that line work from our permanent marker from earlier. So again, mixing that dark brown, twirl the brush into that paint to get a nice fine point. So this is kind of just a dark brown mix. So again, black, orange, twirl into the paint. And if you have a shaky hand and this part makes you nervous, again, that permanent marker that comes in the kit, that's really a handy tool here too. It helps a lot of people do that outline work without having to be too concerned about the shakiness. So sometimes it's easier to do it with a permanent marker. So I'm making all of our creases again here. And the pumpkins, little outlines of our little stems here. Again, still using a really dark brown, so this is black and orange. A little bit of water, twirl into that paint. You can also go over a few of these little leaves too. It might need a little bit of defining with that darker brown. And then we have a little hint of detail work to do here at the base. So I'll make a little, now that this is dry and set up and really pretty, I'll make a little line there right through the middle with the brown. Again, remember to twirl into that paint. And then I'll just make little diagonal lines. Very pretty. Still the dark brown detail here. There we go, or something. Alright, now we're going to do a few little details with the black. Not much, but there's like a little bit of black outline here. I can see that. I can see it. It's driving me crazy. There it is. I got it. Okay. This is a black outline around the brim of the hat. It really kind of tightens it up a little bit. And I'm also going to bring it around the beard here. A little bit of water to make that more fluid. And on this other side, and underneath the beard, adds a nice shadow and then defining amount to the beard here. Let's take a look around, getting near those final edges and touches. Alright, so let's talk about the patterns that we have on the pumpkins. Alright, so we've got those fun little dots. Now you can make a variety of different shapes depending on the brush you use. So if you use Mama and you dip into the black, it's going to be a bigger circle. So see, there it is on the bottom of the brush. And so that's going to be our bigger dot. So this is a perfect way to make perfect little dots every single time. And I'm going to show you with the bottom. This is the bottom of the little bit brush. You can make super tiny little dots too. Kind of vary your dots a little bit. See how fun and easy that is? I love that little trick. Okay, so there's that. Alright, now let's do our little cheetah print. So we want a warmer hint of that. Let's see, let's do some primary yellow. Cadmium yellow. And this is a little bit brush. We're just going to do tiny little touches of that. Every single place we want a little cheetah print. Okay, there's our bright center. And then rinse out, go back in with just clean brush. Pure Mars Black. Let's add a little bit of water to that to make it very fluid, and then twirl the head of the brush into that paint so it's super tiny at the very end. And then we're going to make what looks like little tiny parentheses. You can kind of wiggle the brush a little bit too. Every single time you do one of those little spots of yellow, you can just do, again, little parentheses. So little parentheses, kind of wiggle the brush a little bit, little parentheses on either side. See, it's coming along, it's like magic. Alright, there's our little cheetah print. It always works out so great. People love it. Okay, other details here. We have our outlines, we've got our pattern. Just put a little bit more water on the painting. You're not going to just pick that up a little bit there. Okay. Alright, so we need to finish out this bottom bumper and do our little tires. So a little bit brush. And again, this is something that you could do with your permanent marker too. So just pure Mars Black and a little bit brush. So I'm doing all the outline work first, and then we can just paint into the tire shape here. I think I want a little accent of color. I'm going to do some primary yellow here, a little bit brush, and I want just a little, to make like a little parentheses there, a little parentheses there, Okay, that's our little flash point of light. And now looking around. Sometimes I get done with these and then I turn the camera off and I go, oh dang, this or that. So there's just a lot of detail in this one. I want to make sure, maybe a little flash point of white. And do little accents here if you want. Grab a little bit more of that primary yellow. We're doing a little light echo of the curve there. Do a little bit of that on the little circles too if you want. Again, this is just primary yellow. That khaki color we almost had at the very beginning that we made for the cheetah base, kind of reaching back into that as a light accent on our little stems here. And that mix is actually the primary, titanium white, teeny tiny touch of black, and cadmium yellow. So it's been a while since I've reached back into that, so if you need to remix that, that's how we made that. Okay. Alright, so I'm looking around. I feel like we've done everything here. One thing I really did to do, I have bright green leaves on this one. I don't really have those on here, but we can make some of those really quick. Let me go ahead and grab, this is some of that bright yellow green. We can make a few of those. So let's do some bright yellow green. You can add a touch of Viridian to that too. A little bit brush. And I'm going to make what looks like a little parentheses. And another little parentheses. There's a cute little leaf. See another little parentheses, fill that in. And then here on this side, yeah, that's kind of cute there. Alright, glad I did that. Alright y'all, I think we are finally done. You can sign your masterpiece. So you can do that with your little permanent marker, or just take your little bit and just twirl it in there and make sure it's nice and thin. I would add a little bit of water too to thin out the paint. And I'll just make a little tiny little signature. Make sure you don't have a water spot about to happen. You have to be careful with the water. So cute. All right, beautiful. I'm so proud of y'all. Great job. Okay, so everything you need to complete this painting is on our website at tipsyartist.com. I'll also provide the link below. But y'all did a beautiful job. It looks fantastic. Again, this is more of that original watercolor version that I did, and then this is the acrylic version. So it's awesome. I love it. All right, so thank y'all so much for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun, and we will see you very, very soon. If you have any requests, if you don't, well, of course, I've got getting close to almost 300 paintings to choose from. But hey, I am always open to suggestions. We do new work constantly, all during the week. So, but if you have any suggestions, let me know. And I look forward to painting with y'all again very, very soon. Sending you lots of love and hugs this week. Toodles!